Greetings, I'm Zach, and today I'm doing something completely different. So, obviously I'm a big collector of collectibles, physical media, all of the like, but I'm doing a video today that I never thought I'd be doing in a million years. And that's saying something, because previously to this year, in fact, I really didn't have that much of a passion or indeed like a draw to the likes of Pokemon. Now, obviously, you may have seen already, I have done quite a few like Pokemon card shorts on the channel, so if you want to go check more of those out, I've got plenty more on the way, because I'm slowly building like a collection and my knowledge on Pokemon is incredibly basic. But I was introduced by a dear friend to the TCG game, which subsequently I bought a deck and I've been playing, and I've had a good time with it, and indeed that has how to put it, but like unsurprisingly is probably the best way of putting it, I started to collect some of the cards. Now, I have amassed, I'd say, a pretty decent collection, but for the time being I think I'm going to draw in the reins a bit. I've kind of boarded the hype train, and now, especially with like the likes of the Prismatic evolutions coming out, I think I'm going to try and just draw it back a bit, because I've got quite a few things that I can go through in this video. But for now, at least, in this particular video, I'm going to go through my graded slabs. Now, that's an issue. Well, it's not an issue. It's a thing I wanted to bring up and talk about, because when it comes to Pokemon cards, obviously you can have them graded, which is an interesting thing, and I'm totally for that. That's not any question here. But I am kind of, I don't know, I'm in an iron about the grading process, because essentially it is obviously to do with the quality of the card, how rare it is, etc, etc, etc. But what I found really surprising, being especially new to this community, is the fact of how like precise the like grading process is, because it is remarkably like intense. It's very like thorough, and I found that really surprising, especially when you compare it to the likes of vintage games, vintage comics, things like that. These are all very very intricate like analyses anyway of these particular items. Now, in some instances here, I haven't graded any yet, but that's a thing I'm planning to look into with my dear friends, and I want to go through my graded cards, so a little bit of a collection video here. It's kind of, at the moment, find it slightly baffling as to like the way it's graded. I know there's a lot of different grading companies and stuff out there, but the one that I've tended to favour for, mostly due to the fact that the price-wise they're actually pretty good. It's like to buy on the second-hand market at this current time, at least. Or I've seeked out a couple of good deals. Well, you haven't shown you the grades yet, but obviously it's ace grading. PSA is obviously the preferred one, it would seem, when it comes to collecting Pokemon cards. But I like the decoration, the little information tags on the cards on the ace ones. Do it for me. They're pretty cool. And I like them. So that's why I click them. Or at least a small pile, I'll give you, before I go into them, a little bit of a preview. This is how many I'm going to go through. There you go. That's how many I've collected thus far. So, to start off with, I've got two that I got together as a little bundle, and that was this particular 2023 Black Star Promo Bulbasaur, grade 9, pretty cool, and a same thing, Charmander, grade 8, all shiny and nice. Now, never guess how much I actually got these for. Just have a quick guess. You can comment below if you like. So I got these for the grand sum, about £15, and considering the grading process itself costs around 25 to 30 quid per card, I think that was a smashing deal, considering obviously they're not like the rarest card in the world, but considering they're pretty high grades, and 60 quid at least was spent on getting these to this condition. I thought that was a great deal. Next up, Next up, similar sort of vibe. I have a 2020 Black Star promo. See, this is the big thing when it comes to Pokemon. I'm completely new to it, so I don't entirely know how to pronounce all the names. So it can be quite funny, and if you'd like to see a video of me trying to at least pronounce the names, that might annoy you, but it might be fun to have a little play with the names. So this is a Zacian 5 from Sword and Shield Ultra Premium Collection. It's I'm not entirely sure. Is that considered a secret rare? I'm not sure, but it's a grade 5, which I understand isn't the best, and understandably why. I can see there's kind of like some damage on the corners and things, but yeah, it's a fun card. I saw it for a really good price. I got this for, I think it was under £10. Under £10. So again, considering that 30 quid was spent on grading this, smashing deal. Can't argue with that at all. Next up. This one I had to get because I just fell in love with the artwork of it, and that is a Snorlax. A Snorlax, again, Black Star promo. Full art in this particular instance. I do believe it has a, was it Farfetch'd or a Surfetch'd? Was it? Is that right? On there, is that like a little bird thing? Again, grade 5. Snorlax. I've seen a couple of bits from like the series and stuff, which is quite cool. Featuring Snorlax. It's just a big lazy bear thing. I kind of like it. He's pretty cool. Sorry if I'm being boring here, but I'm just going through it, telling you why I like it. But next up, that led me on to kind of seek out some earlier things. Now, in my hand now, I have something all the way back from 2007, which, okay, it is a more like familiar thing. It is a Blastoise from 2007. Now, this is obviously, that's over 10 years ago. I would have thought that by this point, the older cards would have held maybe or attained a higher value, but in this particular instance, again, I got it for under £20. I mean, sure, it is a grade 4, but I really just couldn't argue. It looks really cool. I was really surprised that I got it for the price I did. But yeah, Blastoise, pretty cool, really like it. Next up, we have all the way back from 1999. Yeah. So the grade is really low. It's the lowest grade I've got. But it is indeed a Gengar from 1999. Now, again, being one of the original releases, I really thought this would have been up there when it came to prices. Is the grading process in this particular instance, has it had a negative effect on the price of the card? I don't know, but I got it again really cheaply. I don't think in any instance I haven't paid over £20 for any single card, if that makes sense. I may have bought bundles, but I haven't paid over £20 for any single graded card that I've got in this collection. So this one is grade 2, so this is almost the lowest of the low. It is very noticeable, all of the damage on this particular card, but I saw it and nobody else was bidding for it on eBay, but I just kind of fell in love with it. I kind of thought, you know what, I've got a place for that in my collection and I can give that some love. Which brings me on to my next point, actually, that I completely forgot about. So the point is that I'm trying to say now is the fact that I paid about £12 for that particular card. Grade 2, extremely, old, potentially not too rare, but it's holographic, so whatever. And what I wanted to say was, why is it in some instances on this particular, grading scale, why is it that some cards that are indeed lower quality than that, grade-wise, like grade 1, why are they more expensive than some grade 10s? Is it the rarity of the card in this particular instance? I think it was a Charmander that was a grade 1, so very poor, was on eBay for around the £40 mark. I wasn't sure if that was a buy it now or like a bid it on type of deal, but I was really surprised considering this one essentially is a higher grade. So you'd think the higher grade would be more valuable, but in that instance the grade was lower. Was it the fact that the card was potentially more like sought after? I'm not entirely sure. If you'd like to maybe simplify like the grading process or like how things are judged to be worth something in the comments, I would love to know, because I am basically a complete newbie to this. So I understand if you're probably screaming and shouting out there, like shouting at me that I don't know anything, but I just wanted to share the fact that I'm interested in Pokemon at this particular juncture of collecting, and I have indeed dabbled in the graded market. So next up, this was one that I really wasn't expecting to get, but I saw the chance, got a good offer, and it is a Zapdos from 2016 Evolutions, and it's grade 8. Again, I got it for under £10. Really impressed that I got it for that price, because considering like it is what? Oh my god, this is nearly 10 years old. Wow, that's an eye-opener. But I quite like that. I quite like that one. The design of the Zapdos thing was pretty cool, and I quite enjoyed it. Now, I do have in a pile next to me 4 more, but I did want to say personal preferences when it comes to collecting Pokemon stuff. In my experience with playing the actual TCG, sorry, get my teeth in, I have found that I've liked playing, it was the metal type Pokemon. They've been pretty fun, with like Ferrothorn and the likes of Seed. And I think in my first kind of times battling with the Corvic Knight, V-Deck, it might be V-Deck, battle thing, I've actually quite enjoyed that. It seems a very simple to pick up game, which I believe is probably one of the reasons that it can be so addictive when it comes to collecting stuff. But in the instance of the fact that I've collected a few things now, I do believe I have a good few duplicates, so I will be putting those up on eBay if you fancy delving into some of the things that I would like to sell. That would be great. So final points. It gets really exciting, by the way. It does get really exciting. Turn up today, we have Poltergeist Full Art, grade 9. Again, under £10. I'm like, I feel as if, am I missing something here? Because I'm really liking the art on these, but it feels to me like some people are either underselling them or undervaluing them on the likes of eBay, or indeed, am I just being incredibly lucky on my purchases regarding these? I don't know, because I suppose it comes down to why you're collecting these things, because is it for the attainable value of the graded card, or is it just because it looks cool? In my instance, I was collecting these because they looked cool and they were cheap. I don't want that to sound bad or anything, but that's basically why I picked these up. Because it's not like I can stack 60 of these in a pile, shuffle them, and play a game of Pokemon. That would be incredibly difficult. But it would be interesting to give it a go, but I would have to get a lot of graded energy cards, and that would be a bit silly. But anyway, I'm kind of going off track here. But it's just interesting. It's an interesting little open discussion I want to kind of promote here. Is like, why do people collect Pokemon cards? Is it because of the what it would be valued at, or is it because you just like it? Because in some instances, I've shown my cards and stuff to people. They've been, "Why'd you get that? That's a grade 2. That's silly." And I'm like, I liked it and it was cheap, and to me, that's perfectly fine. And there you go. So, final reveal. This is a collection of 3, by the way, from none other than the new release Prismatic Evolutions thing that's come out, which is really cool. It is, let's go with first one, Larvitar, grade 9. Very shiny, I quite like this one. It's a Master Ball thing as well. Just there, it's got the Master Ball reverse foil thing. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's called a reverse foil because there are different like types of reverse foil now. That's a new thing, because I thought it was just standard card, then the reverse, but now there's reverse foil Master Ball, reverse foil Pokeball. I suppose it sells more cards, but it does make collecting a little more tricky. Next one, we have Shaman, grade 9 again. Pretty cool. Quite like that one. Quite nice. And then this is probably the most interesting one, because I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of this particular card, but as I understand it, this is probably the highest valued graded card that I have, and it is from Prismatic Evolutions. It is Espeon. Espeon, is that how you spell it? It's an evolution of Eevee, and it is a grade 10, so that does make it quite it can't get any graded any higher, so that's definitely going to be worth a few bob here or there. But this is snug and safe in my collection for the time being. Design wise, sure, it looks shiny and stuff, but I mean, I quite like the designs of some of the other ones, but I suppose in this particular instance, it is a sought after card, and it is a card with a high grade. So perhaps my point of asking why people collect things in this particular instance, this would be because it is sought after, it is rare, and it is a high grade. And then in other instances, it is because it was cheap and it looked cool. So I was incredibly lucky to pick up those particular 3 graded cards there, and that is because I mean, to be fair, I don't know how I managed to pick those up, because I do know that Prismatic Evolutions at the moment is incredibly sought after. So it was a steal, and I was really, really lucky to pick those up for the grand sum of around £40 off of eBay again. So yeah, maybe if you are looking into obviously the Pokemon side of things, maybe eBay is a place to take a look. I know that the Prismatic Evolution stuff is incredibly difficult and sold out basically everywhere, unless you can literally stumble across it whilst walking through a shop, and even that is incredibly unlikely. So yeah, that is a brief little look into my view of Pokemon. I enjoy it. I enjoy the TCG. I do need to delve into the movies and the animated series. That's probably an area that I'm probably weakest on when it comes to Pokemon. Future of Pokemon for me, I look to maybe expand my kind of deck knowledge, maybe make some custom decks or something, but that will require a lot of kind of customization and bits and bobs and stuff that I can't really explain in this video until I've actually done it. So yeah, at the moment, got a few things. Collection's looking pretty good when it comes to Pokemon. I'm indeed very surprised that I've done a video on Pokemon. So maybe we can catch up in a few years. Don't want to promise that. We'll catch up at some point, maybe with my collection, see how I'm doing. I might have some more graded cards, that'd be cool to share. But in the meantime, when it comes to Pokemon, keep checking out the shorts, because they're great fun to make and very easy to make, so I like sharing those with you, and that indeed informs you as to all the bits and pieces that I've got Pokemon wise, and I know that a lot of you enjoy watching them, for better or for worse, card wise, because I know there's a couple of duds in there. And indeed, obviously duplicates. Take a look at my eBay and see if there's any there that you'd like to purchase, if you like. Self-advocation of a bit of duplication being good for, obviously I can reinvest that into my collection to get some more. So there we are. Hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit of more of an open discussion here. So yeah, Pokemon. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions for the videos you would like to see.